In this video, I'm going to show you how to use number lines to determine a sequence and then use the rule for that sequence to complete the number line. In this first example, I only have 3 numbers shown on the number line, but that's actually more than enough to determine a rule. And to do that, I'm going to look at these 2 numbers, the 12 and the 26, that are closest together. I'm going to ask myself how far apart are 26 and 12. To determine that, I'm going to subtract, and I find out that they are 14 units apart. Now I want to get from 12 to 26, which I know is 14 units in distance, but I want to do it in 1-2 leaps. So 14 units of distance divided by 2 leaps gives me 7 units in each leap, and I'm going up, so I know that my rule is now plus 7. I can now continue following this rule all the way along, adding 7 as I go. So I have 33, plus 7 is 40, plus 7 is 47. And I can confirm that it really is adding 7 because 47 plus 7 is 54. 54 plus 7 is 61. Now, I'm not quite done yet because I still have to fill in these ones to the left, and I actually forgot this one right here as well. 12 plus 7 is 19. The ones to the left, because they're less than 12, I would not be going up 7. Instead, I would be going down 7. So I'm going to have to subtract 7 from 12. 12 minus 7 is equal to 5. And then I'm going to have to subtract 7 from 5, and that's going to take me below 0. So I'm actually going to be at -2 on the far left. Let's look at another example. And in this case, I have numbers that are equally spaced apart, so it doesn't matter which one I choose. I'm just going to choose these first 2. And I'm going to figure out how many units on the number line apart are they. To do that, I'm going to subtract 88 minus 52. And I discover that they are 36 units apart. However, they are separated by 1, 2, 3 leaps. So I need to take my 36 units and divide them into 3 equal parts. 36 divided by 3 is 12, and because I'm going up, my rule is adding 12. So if I go back and add 12 to my original number, I get 64, and then I can continue the pattern all the way through to determine all of my missing numbers. So this becomes 100. Adding 12 gives me 112. I can check to make sure this is correct by adding 12 right here at the end, and it does equal 124. When I go to the left, I'm going down now, so I have to subtract 12 from 52. So 52 minus 12 equals 40. 40 minus 12 equals 28, and 28 minus 12 equals 16. I can always go back and check to make sure that these are correct by just going back in and plugging in my adding 12 and then going from left to right. 16 plus 12 does equal 28. 28 plus 12 does equal 40, and 40 plus 12 does equal 52. On this next example, I only have 2 numbers, so I'll have to use them to determine my rule. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out how far apart my 2 numbers are. They are 16 units apart, and I'm trying to travel those 16 units in 1, 2, 3, 4 leaps. So 16 divided by 4 equals 4, and I am going down here, so I am subtracting 4 each time. I'm now going to plug that in and complete my pattern. So this would be 19, subtracting 4 would be 15. Subtracting 4 would be 11, which confirms that I do have the correct rule. 11 minus 4 is 7, and 7 minus 4 is 3. And it appears now I'm going to get into some negative numbers. 3 minus 4 is -1, and then I continue subtracting. I'm going down 4 more, so that is now -5. I still have to fill in the spot to the left of the 27, but for that number, I'm going to have to add 4, and that gives me 31. And then I can confirm that by subtracting 31 minus 4 equals 27. Let's look at one last example. And in this case, I only have two numbers, so I'll figure out how far apart they are. They are 10 units apart, and they are separated by 1, 2, 3, 4 spots on the number line. So I need to take my 10 units and I need to divide by 4. So 10 divided by 4 is not going to be a whole number. When I do the division out here, I get 2 2/4 units per leap. That's the same thing as 2 1/2 units per leap. So I need to add 2.5 or 2.5 every time. I'm going to use decimals here because I think that will be easier. So that would be 26.5 plus 2.5 gives me 29 plus 2.5 gives me 31.5, and plus 2.5 does give me 34. I'll continue that pattern. Plus 2.5 gives me 36.5, and then plus 2.5 more gives me 39. For the numbers to the left of 24, I'm going to have to subtract 2.5. So 24 minus 2 is 22, and then minus 1/2 more is 21.5. 21.5 minus 2 is 19.5. Minus 1/2 more is 19. 19 minus 2 is 17. Minus 1/2 more is 16.5. I can go back and confirm. That would be 19. That would be 21.5. And yes, that would be 24.